Now we'll proceed with third speaker, Ms. Sui from Bone Marrow Donor Program.
Testing. Okay. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's the last session. Hope all of you are not too tired. Hello to those who are joining us online also. I know there's a few of you. Wait, there's a clicker. Okay, yeah. So I'm from the Bone Marrow Donor Program. This topic today is the gift of life because for BMDP, Bone Marrow Donor Program, we are Singapore's only marrow donor registry. We provide hope to patients with blood-related diseases like leukemia, lymphoma, and myeloma. So before I start explaining about BMDP and bone marrow donation, let's watch a quick video to start off.
Wow, I can still remember I was in the living room and 2 different hospitals told me I had 6 months left. I remember thinking, who are you to tell me that I had 6 months left? I wasn't really able to accept that prognosis, and I was just very determined to get well and to leave the hospital and not have to come back.
I was initially very shocked and a little sad. My life until that particular point was very ordinary and very predictable. I had never been to a doctor nor hospital before, so I was also a little overwhelmed when the doctors communicated a treatment plan. I knew at that point in time, my life was about to quickly change.
The next day came and was confirmed that I had this ALL, which is acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and would need me to receive treatment, else I'll have 3 to 6 months to live. My world just shut down when I heard the news.
Hello, my name's Ian. I'm soon turning 50, and I'm both a proud and a very grateful leukemia survivor.
Hi, I'm Stacey, mother of 2. I'm a beneficiary of BMDP and survived the bone marrow transplant in 2011. Almost died, but brought to life thanks to Stella, my donor, who added time to my life.
Hi, I'm Sophia Tan. I am a financial consultant with Unicorn Financial Solutions. I will be 45 this year.
There can only be one person that I think helped me the most, and that's now my wife, Jojo. So why don't you come in and let's have a chat. Hey. Hi. How are you? Now, a lot of the times, a heap of focus is on the patient. And sometimes we forget that the carer has to go through a similar journey as well. Do you remember when I was diagnosed? How did you feel? What was going through your mind?
When you were diagnosed, I was scared. We were both scared, but we were determined, very determined to fight this and to come out victorious.
I think it took about 3 to 4 months to find this donor. It was a matched, unrelated donor, and I think I feel very lucky that I did.
For once, since my admission, I felt hopeful and ecstatic to be able to find a match 4 months after my diagnosis. However, the donor had some medical condition that rendered him unfit for the bone marrow transplant. So it was, I think, a month or 2 after this incident that I was informed that there is a match. This time, I was excited, but I did not want to expect much because of the first incident. I was very blessed that Stella is in the pink of health and agreed to proceed with the transplant.
I remember I received a call during my clinical attachment as a final year nursing student, and I was very excited. I always remember the doctor that managed her. The first thing she said when we reunited was, "Oh, you are like sisters now because we share the same blood." Yeah, so I definitely feel very honored. that I have this opportunity to share a part of me that meant so much to her and her family lah.
I'm forever indebted to her noble act of donating her bone marrow. I cannot thank her enough for being my hero, saving and giving me an extra lease of life. And my family is grateful too.
No one wants a critical illness to learn life lessons, but strangely enough, a lot of good has come out of it. I stress far less. I don't worry about the things that are out of my control. I take more time to do the things that I enjoy, and I value the personal relationships that I have far more than ever before.
Well, I went back to work as a consultant, and now, like, new interests because of my partner, I've picked up fishing, which I found to be really enjoyable. Brought me back to nature again, which I realized that I missed a lot. And of course, it's also brought me to new places, the privilege of knowing different people as well as different experiences.
I'm really grateful for a second chance to learn from past missteps and to have a chance to be a better human being.
If you're healthy, you're available to come forward and to sign up as a potential donor, because this will really give a new lease of life to someone who is looking for a match.
Yeah, so I want to share that, the time and effort put into becoming a donor are nothing compared to the roller coaster journey that the patients went through. And if they are ready to take on this better, I think we should be ready to give what they need. Let's just give hope, give love, and give the power of a second chance at life.
Okay, hope everyone enjoyed this very touching video. So this video is actually very recent, very new. It's produced just a few months back because this year we celebrated our 30 years in Singapore, and we produced this video as part of a celebration of our 30th anniversary. So as you can see, as I mentioned earlier, Bone Marrow Donor Program, we are Singapore's only marrow donor registry, and without our marrow donors, these patients like Ian, Sophia and Stacy wouldn't be able to have a second chance at life. Okay, so when patients need a bone marrow transplant, they look for their family members, with siblings being the highest probability. However, 70% of our patients are unable to find a match from their siblings. So imagine if you cannot find from your family members, how challenging it will be to find from someone that you don't know. Which is why for Stacy's donor, she joked that the nurse or the doctor mentioned that they do share the same blood. And I also have a donor who also told me and joked and say like, I asked, so I'm the okay, pretend I'm that donor, okay? So that donor go and tell the mom and said, are you sure that I don't have any sibling elsewhere? How come we share the same HLA type? So HLA is human leukocyte antigen, which is like a genetic marker of our DNA, which we use to determine matches between our donor and our recipients. So that was what we use to find matches. So when there is no match among siblings, the recipients will then have to rely on our marrow donor registry to find marrow donors to save them. So for registration, it will be between the age of 18 and 49 to join our registry. All it takes is a registration form and a cheek swab. Don't worry, we are not asking you to go and donate your stem cells now because you need to be of a match. So which is why we do the cheek swab. Now that we have done the COVID swab, I think everyone is more comfortable, but don't put it in your nose, you put it in the inner walls of your cheek. The reason why we do the cheek swab is to have your human leukocyte antigen, the HLA typing, which we'll put into our database. And every day when we receive patients' HLA typing from the hospitals, we will match against the database to see who has the closest match. So like let's say, for example, this year I register, and a few years later, or maybe 10 or 20 years later, when I'm being found as a match with a patient, I'll then be contacted and then I'll proceed to go for the donation. So once someone registers, he or she will be in our register until 60 years old because takes pretty long for someone to be found as a match. The odds of finding a match at the moment is 1 in 20,000. So with that said, it doesn't mean that when you register, it guarantees that you will be proceeding to donation. But it also doesn't mean that, oh, I'll never be found as a match because the odds are so low. I wouldn't know. Yourself also wouldn't know. So it's like striking a lottery lah. So it's like you go and buy, but then you don't know if you'll win or not. However, so for registration, if anyone has any of these medical conditions, then he or she will not be eligible because we need a healthy individual to donate. Okay, so this will be shown during registration as well. And I'll move on to the donation process. The reason why I'm sharing the donation process now, even though I'm not asking you to go for donation, is because we want to educate people to make an informed decision to register. So let's say a few years down the road, you're being found as a match or someone is being found as a match. The very first step is a thorough medical examination and also a cheek swab or a blood test just to make sure that he or her the HLA typing matches with the patient because the last time someone registered could be many years ago. So you just want to double verify and then go for a thorough medical checkup because the body condition will be different then. So let's say I'm healthy now, maybe 10 or 20 years later, my body condition changes. I've developed some health conditions, which is why we need to make sure that the person is healthy in order to proceed with the donation. There are two methods of donation. People who donate blood are more comfortable to go with this method, which is why 90% of our donors actually choose this method. It is called the peripheral blood stem cell collection, similar to a platelet donation. So how does it work? For 5 days prior to the donation, there is some preparation work needed where the donors will have to take a hormone injection, which most of them, they actually self-administer it at the stomach area or they get their family member to do it for them. The reason why there is a need for this injection is to increase the blood stem cells in the body to prepare them for the donation. On the 5th day, they will proceed to the hospital to do the donation. And how it works is that basically, imagining blood will be drawn from an arm. The machine will collect the blood stem cells from your bloodstream. And then using the aspirasis machine, which filters out your blood stem cells, and your remaining blood goes back into your other arm. So it's like a 2 arms process. It may seem like, wow, like scary, yeah? But most donors, they share with us that the doctors and the nurses are very professional. I also have donors who shared that, oh, I can still move my fingers. So they actually really do their work even while having this donation. So it really depends on an individual, not saying that, oh, you can do that, you should do that. But just want to share that it is not as scary as you think it is. These are some of the short-term side effects that donors may face, also because of the hormone injections that donors take for 5 days prior to the donation. But most donors, they are comfortable and they are able to proceed with their activities right after the donation. So with that, I have a very short video of donors who have went through this donation method to share their experiences with you.
I spent all day looking at the risk rewards. Donating bone marrow is a no different decision. What's the risk? I went online, I did my research, I found that there really is no long-term risk related to PBSC, the method that I chose. All I had on my mind was how fast the Wi-Fi can load and how will my meals be like.
Throughout the whole process, they made sure that I was very comfortable, and I was actually lying on the bed for about several hours. At the end of the evening, I was told that my harvest was good. After I was discharged the evening, I went for my routine night walk. I felt good, so I see no reason for missing my daily exercise.
A week before the donation, we had to go through daily injections to stimulate the stem cells in the bone marrow. And I did feel a bit of bone aches, but that is just because the whole process is working. And because of those aches, right, I just felt more encouraged that what I'm doing is going to be worth something at the end. The actual donation itself was very easy. I just had to lie in a bed and watch TV the whole day. Because in the hospital they had a lot of movie channels, so it's like it's just an excuse to relax, basically.
If you want to know what it's like to be treated like a king, and that's how I was treated, to be honest with you. From the time I walked into the hospital, someone met me at the lobby and took me up to the room. The doctor came in and reassured me about what they're going to do and tell me, nothing to worry about. There was no risk on my part at all. Well, after the whole experience, when they removed the needles from my arm, I drove home and I was feeling fine. Maybe felt a little tired the next day, but by the evening I was back at the gym and playing football the very next day.
Yep. So as you have seen from the video, these donors, they share more about other stuff aside from the side effects. They talk about how relaxed they were, how comfortable the experience was. But this is really coming from these donors whom have went for the donation. And I've also personally heard from other donors, aside from this few, that is really not as painful as you think it is. So there's another second method which 10% go for. I think when people hear about bone marrow donation, they think, oh, is it extract from your spine? Then we're like, oh, no, it's not from your spine. It is from your pelvic bone because it has our largest source of our stem cells. So for this, donors will have to undergo general anesthesia. So because of that, no food or drink 12 hours before, and then basically a needle will be inserted and they will extract the bone marrow liquid. So basically, because of general anesthesia, you actually don't feel or see anything during the procedure. What happens is that when you wake up, you probably feel a bit of soreness, and doctors will usually recommend no strenuous activities for 2 weeks after this donation. So we must be thinking, why would people choose this method? Okay, so for pediatric cases, which means that the patients are young children, this method is preferred and recommended by the doctors because the bone marrow is less mature and it's easier to be engrafted into the children. But ultimately, it is still the donor's choice, which is why 90% choose the first method. But I also have a donor who went for this method and then asked me, why are you asking me this question? He asked me, he said, why do people choose the first method? Why don't just go for this method? So I guess it really seems like everyone has different perspective, different opinions of what they prefer. To that particular donor, he doesn't want to do the preparation work. He wants to do this because he wants to get it over and done with. So it really depends, and it's really up to donors. And if you are keen to register, don't worry, you don't have to make a decision right now. It's really for you to be educated and informed to make a decision. Some of the short-term side effects include general fatigue, stiff and soreness. But thankfully, out of the 400 plus donors whom have donated with us in Singapore, none of them have faced long-term complications. And we can honestly say that because we do follow up with the donors. After the donation, they do have a post-medical checkup. And also, we do contact them every year just to make sure that they are fit and healthy. But we don't contact them all the way until they pass on. We contact them for 10 years after their donation. Okay? And with that, I know there's a bit of videos. One last video, but this video is also very touching, where you will see this marrow donor, Wilson, who donated via this method. And you also see in the video where he met up with his recipient.
I like to use the same phrase which all donors use. No big deal lah. One day only, no big deal. After that, my life goes on. What is important is that this person survives. The life carries on. I realized that she was actually the same age as my mother. But this is a total stranger to me. But yet, we are a match of DNA profile. My cells can save this person's life. So it's amazing, it's beautiful. Generally, Singaporeans always use the word pain. They always say it's going to be very painful. Why am I so selfish not to reserve the bone marrow for my family? Well, I forgot which auntie or which uncle asked me or told me that maybe I cannot have children after that. So all of them told me whatever they know based on movie, based on whoever friend. No one can give me a name. So instead of being shaken, I'm more determined that I must go through this myself to experience it, because all these are myth and misunderstanding. On the 19th morning, I was pushed into the operating theatre. So all I know is that I was given a jab of IV drip. It's just one jab. Because I'm under general anesthesia, so fast asleep, no feeling at all. At 12 p.m, I'm awake. I make my way to the toilet, then come back. Then I began to realize, oh, okay, I donated bone marrow. It leaves no evidence, no trace. No trace.
这是谁的家？
爸爸. Yes, it may contribute in terms of memory. Next time for the young children, for the kids, for them to take a look, oh, that has did something else, has did something different.
The fact that you have chosen to pledge, the fact that you have chosen to give another a gift of life, that makes you a hero.
It is really something, really. And also it gives me a new outlook of life. What life means, what life means. Thank you. If it were not for you, I won't be here.
No, don't mention. Yeah, it's always just a little part out of us. Yeah, I don't have a million or billions to donate to for a good cause, but I have cells that can keep growing. I can use it for a good cause, for a good purpose.
Yeah.
I feel very, very good about this.
I'm not just taking him as a donor. Like he is like somebody like my son who is willing to give, without even knowing to whom.
Okay, so with the challenging odds of finding a match, and with about estimated average 50 patients waiting for a match with us every month, we encourage all of you to help us spread the word, because I think when people hear about bone marrow donation, it's really like, don't want lah, so painful. How am I donating the whole of my bone marrow? Will I still be able to give birth after that? Everyone has a lot of misconceptions, and we hope that through this session, you'll be able to take away some useful knowledge and also help us to spread the word, because you never know, if you share the word and someone sign up, who knows, he or she could potentially be the lifesaver that a patient is waiting for. And even if you are not eligible to register, as what I mentioned, help us to spread the word. And if you are eligible to register, we actually do have a registration booth right outside. It's very obvious. It's an orange tablecloth that says Bone Marrow Donor Program. We are doing registration today. So all it takes is a registration form and a cheek swab for you to register. And as I mentioned, if you are being found as a match with a patient one day, you will be contacted, and then you will proceed to go for the donation, and you will decide which method of donation you prefer. And if you want to take any brochures, go ahead to do so. For those joining us online, you can actually go to bmdp.org or just search Bone Marrow Donor Program. You can do a simple registration online. How it works is that we will actually send you the registration kit for you to your mailing address. So you can then complete it and send it back to us. But remember to send it back to us. Don't chuck it aside, else that defeats the purpose of you signing up. So with that, in summary, I hope all of you have learned something new today. Just want to share that it is not as complicated and painful as you think it is. And we are actually only borrowing less than 5% of your stem cells. And we use the word borrow because your stem cells will be replenished within 4 to 6 weeks. So aside from that, there is no cost involved. So for any like transportation to the clinics or to the transplant centers or anything that's related to this, it will all be covered. So no cost. You're not losing any stem cells. We are just borrowing it. We are just asking you for your time and effort and the heart to save a patient's life. And going back to today's topic again, it's a gift of life. So we hope everybody will be able to potentially provide that gift of life for someone. So with that, that marks the end of my presentation. I know it's earlier than expected, which is a good sign because everybody gets to leave earlier. So yeah, if there's any questions, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, thank you, Shuling, for the lecture. What's the minimum age of putting onto the register?
18.
18.
Correct.
The older one will be
49.
49. Over 50, no chance.
Yes, unfortunately, no. If you want to, you have to pay for the typing. Are you above 50? Because you don't look like you're above.
No, I'm above 50, so I don't mind paying for it.
Oh,
Is it
okay. If you want
Can
to.
I do my swap? They just rejected me.
Oh no, you don't look like you're above 50. Okay, the reason why is because we are a charity. Every registration costs money. And so we want to make full use of the registrations because if let's say above 50, right, that gives you a very short leeway of being found as a match. Yeah, so because you'll be in the register until 59 years old and then 60, we will just automatically withdraw you. So we give about like a 10 years of runway for someone to be found as a match given that the odds is very low. So we want to prioritize the younger generation. No offense, but really every country do it differently. So just to share, bone marrow donor program is Singapore's only marrow donor registry. Taiwan has the Buddhist stem cell registry as well. Every registry, the cutoff age is different, but the donation age is until 60, which is standard for everyone as part of our World Marrow Donor Association guidelines.
Question is, will you be sharing this in the check? Let the owner check on the SingPass. Using SingPass to check. You know,
Okay.
the one with the CPF board, then the icon, then you can click, then you can check.
Okay.
Are you still in the list?
Okay, at the moment, no. We have yet to integrate with SingPass. In order to check whether you are already previously registered, what you can do is drop us an email. I can send you the email address later. The reason why we ask you to drop an email because we need some of your personal details, like your name, your NRIC, your date of birth, for us to check whether you are already in our register.
Yes, I understand. But if you have these simple steps for donor to check as and when they like, because sometimes after a number of years, you forget whether you still in the registrar. So they want to check without bothering you guys, and then they DIY.
Okay. Another easier way is to check your email address. You search the Bone Marrow Donor Program. Because if you're already registered, we will send you monthly newsletters. So that's the quickest way to check for now. If you don't have, it means that probably you're already not in the register, or you could possibly unsubscribe. Yeah, but so that one a bit not so sure. Any other questions? Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Ling.